All right. Well, let's take a more pleasant turn to a full-on racist arguing that we shouldn't have legal pot in Kansas. This is from the Garden City Telegram. Kansas State Representative Steve Alford is explaining to his constituents why we would never want legal weed in Kansas. He's got a couple of reasons. They're not too solid ground, but then he brings out the bazooka.
The other thing, too, what about what we've gone through on doing away with smoking in buildings on public and stuff like that? You know, you can walk up the sidewalk and the guy's smoking marijuana in a car. That smell took up my freedom. I wanted clean air because there's a lot of people gave up smoking, so everyone else could have clean air or clean atmosphere and stuff like that.
Can I clarify that would be against the law in Colorado too?
What's that?
I just want to clarify that would be against the law in Colorado too.
Okay.
Pause it now for 1 second. So the guy's argument is that, well, we can't have legal pot here because the smoke will get around, it'll eat up my freedom. Now, remember, Scott Pruitt, who is now the head of the EPA, whose entire lifelong mission as Attorney General of Kansas was to allow polluters to pollute. Oklahoma. Sorry. All right. Kansas. Well, his neighbor. Maybe Steve Alford has been very, very strong on anti-pollution initiatives, in which case I apologize. But I mean, look, I think that's a decent argument if it was in fact a problem. But like someone in the audience said, well, that's already illegal in Colorado. You can deal with that. And then he goes, well, okay, then let me move on to my next completely spurious charge.
Colorado too.
Okay. The other thing too, my wife is a magistrate judge, and she says basically any way you say it, marijuana is an entry drug into the higher drugs. What you really need to do is go back in the 30s and where they outlawed all type of drugs in Kansas across the United States. What was the reason why they did that? One of the reasons why, I hate to say it, it's the African Americans. They were basically users, and they basically responded the worst of all those drugs just because their character makeup, their genetics and that. And so basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to do a complete reverse of people not remembering of what's happened in the past. So basically I'm against, marijuana, all the way through too.
There you go. Because, because in the 30s, we all learned that lesson about how the African Americans, they culturally, not culturally, genetically, they can't, the way they get crazy with the pot.
In the same way that they can jump as a result of their training on America's fields, the Negro's devil stick activates his music and white women gene, which is why we need to reverse the Obama-era legislation.
And now, to be fair, he really did hate to say it. He really did seem to hate to say it.
That's the difference.
I didn't even want to get to this point. It's just because of that guy who said the part about Colorado making it illegal for smoke to take my freedom away. I wouldn't have had to say that. And then my wife, who's a magistrate judge, if she had done, if she had a little bit more authority, if she maybe was a federal judge and said it was so it's really your fault, my wife's fault. I said that.
His wife should be under investigation too,
His wife should be like, I wish you would hate to bring up my name and job title when you're going on your racist.
Although I think, he really, that's the difference. That's a sort of Reagan era racist right there. Because they hate to say it.
Well, but the thing is,
new
it's
breed
like,
does not hate to
that's
say
true.
it.
That's true. But this cuts both. Not only is this guy, he's a reluctant racist, But he doesn't seem to have any good reason not to legalize marijuana in Kansas. I wonder if he's going to backtrack on that. Well, yeah, no, I apologize for saying that out loud, but I'm still going to inform my vote. Unbelievable. He has since apologized, and I'm not going to read the apology because who cares?
Let me translate. The devil's stick makes the Negro prideful and dangerous. No, Mr. Trump, I don't have time to obscure federal racketeering charges against you. I'm trying to recreate a heritage. Oh, excuse me. Let me calm down. Gotta go in front of the cameras now. Yep, MM13, whatever you call it. I don't care what you call it. MM13 could be a goddamn Guatemala dance troupe. I don't want them in my clean country.
Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos